Hi, parents. I hope you're doing well, plus your loved ones. So, it was Mother's Day on Sunday. It's still a Mother's Week. Happy Mother's Week to every mother out there and potential mothers. Just know you are doing a good job. You are enough. You are competent to do that. And that specific child was given to you because you are capable and able to bring them up to the place they are supposed to be. So, happy Mother's Day. So today we'd like to talk about independence. What rings on your mind when you hear the word independence? And independence to your child, not to you. Of course, you are independent. That's why you're able to bring your child. So, what questions come to you? What comments come to you about this topic? Um, we want to deal with making choices, taking responsibilities, handling conflicts. Are they able to solve problems? So, when are you able to look at your child and say, this one is growing up to be independent, or this one is already independent, and I'm confident about that? So let's hear about it today in our discussion today. And I'm so glad to have a fellow mother. You know, she's a mother to a teenager. She's a mother to two, one young adult and an adult. Yes. So she's experienced, she's had her mistakes, she's had her shares of learning and experiences, and that's why she's here. Feel free to comment about this topic, any questions, any insight about this. Karibu sana, and karibu sana Tabitha. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much, Elsie. Thank you for having me once again
Yes.
to have this very important conversation on independence. My name is Tabitha Warugoro Mukaya. I'm married to Julius Mukaya, and I am a born-again Christian. A mother of three children, two girls who are young adults, Elsie,
Yeah.
and teenage young man who is just about to turn 18.
Wow.
So, and I'm also marriage and family therapist. I serve in my church in the family care and enrichment ministry, where we
Yes.
encourage and support families, particularly young couples who are about to get married, parents in general, both young and the older ones, and children. And it's a passion for me. It's a passion because I know that when children are supported properly, then they turn out to be responsible adults who are able to even become independent.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
this is a very important conversation, and I am glad that you considered that we should talk about independence
Yes.
in our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am so glad to have you here. You know, you pouring your experience as a mom and also as a mental health practitioner, you know, and as someone who's passionate about family. I can't remember the many years I've seen you in that ministry. You are there. That's your purpose. So Tabitha,
Amen.
how can you define independence as a mother or as a parent
Yes.
and as a therapist?
Okay. The dictionary says that independence
Yes.
is being able or the ability to do things or to think and be able to carry out tasks uh, by your own or yourself without support. But when I say without support, is without depending on someone else to push you. When you're independent, you can be able to take initiative. You can be able to look at something and know that this one needs to be sorted out. And we talk about independence in children because they will not remain young children forever.
Yeah.
They are growing. My children were once young like you as Elsie.
Yeah.
You as
3 and 6.
3 and 6,
Yes.
imagine. And now they are 27, they are 21, and they are 18.
Yeah.
And imagine if I never exposed them to activities or to work that exposed them to become independent. Imagine what kind of problems I would have in my house today. So that is why it's important to have this conversation on independence, allowing our children as early as now, starting to train your children to become independent.
As early as my 3-year-old?
As early as from age 2 years.
Oh, from 2 years.
She will start from 2 years with age appropriate activities. For example, there are some activities, your 3-year-old, what are some of the activities that you allow her to perform?
Yeah, one of them, when they're done eating, I tell them to take their dishes to the kitchen.
Yes.
Put them in the sink. Yeah, I allow them to brush their teeth.
Wonderful.
Yeah, sometimes I do help because it's done, faster and maybe not thoroughly.
Yes.
I allow them to brush their teeth. They can go fetch their own water instead of asking their auntie, or asking me to go get it for themselves. I allow them to, the 6-year-old, when she's cleaning her shoes, because we tell her to clean her shoes, we tag her along.
Okay.
So that she also learns from her sister, learning from your peers.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, when the 6-year-old is making her bed, she goes there and sees that. Yeah, those are some of the things I can think of right now.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you, Elsie.
Thank you.
for that. I can see that you are already a parent who is self-aware, very self-aware. You are already very intentional. Those activities are they are good and they are age appropriate.
Yeah.
And you may also want to allow them to dress themselves.
Uh-huh.
Even the 3-year-old.
Actually applying jelly on themselves,
Nice.
Yeah, because
wonderful.
actually the 3-year-old,
Yes.
she always wants to do it. She
Great.
pushes you to let her do it on her own.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And what are some of the activities that you allow the 6-year-old to do?
The 6-year-old, once in a while, they clean up the dishes.
Yes.
We clean together the house once in a while. We do it together. And especially Saturdays, I tell her, as I clean my room, clean yours. Wipe the windows, clean the bed, change the bedding because they have to be cleaned then.
Yes.
Clean your panties.
Wonderful.
Yeah, she cleans her panties. She does her shoes. And right now I'm thinking of starting to introduce her to brushing her own shoes instead of waiting for auntie to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, and also I make her to prepare herself, especially when the next day is school day.
Yes.
I tell her, you need to ensure that your books are in your bag instead of asking someone, where are my books?
Great.
Where's my pencil or whatever? Be responsible. Take action of your own stuff, Yeah.
I like that. And the one thing that I am hearing as you're talking is that you are there. You do not take a back seat. You are watching and you're guiding and you're supporting, which is very, very important. Even as we allow independence, we are supposed to oversee. Not to interfere so much so that you're not a helicopter parent. Remember that helicopter parent, Elsie,
I do.
Who even sometimes becomes impatient and decides, you're doing it slowly, or you're not doing it well.
Yeah.
I prefer it done this way. Or sometimes you don't even want the child to carry the plate to the kitchen.
I used to have that problem.
Oh, how did you overcome that?
I used to have that problem.
Really?
I think just learning and the exposure just makes you to think about yourself and your child, Because even homework, things I used to, you are so slow. Can you do this? But then when it comes to homework, I've realized I don't have a lot of patience, but the dad has. So most of the time I take it to her dad and they learn together. And I don't know whether it's in her head already. The other day she was telling me, Mommy, why I'm not understanding when you teach me? So it's like something in her head that tells her, when Mommy teaches me, I'm not able to understand. But when Daddy does, but I want to undo that. I want to undo that. So it got to a point I just thought, if you keep doing, you're in a hurry,
Yes.
that means you're not patient. You're not patient to let them learn from
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, and just took me aback.
Wow.
Yeah, so that I allow the child to grow.
Wonderful. We keep in parenting, we keep learning and
Yeah,
learning and
and
relearning.
relearning.
And I am glad that you already know your weak areas. You have
Yes.
picked them out so well. That impatient it needs to be unlearned.
Yeah.
And now you
Yeah.
relearn to be patient so
Yes.
that you can allow the process to take place.
Yes.
Because remember, they are very they are delicate. Their hands are still feeble. They are not as strong as you, and their brain is still developing. So they may not be able to perform activities the way that a grown-up person will be able to do them. So we take it slowly, patiently, while trusting the process. And ultimately, when they are grown, we will be able to see the fruit of what you have already started now, Elsie.
I hope so.
Yes.
I hope so.
But you're already doing well.
Thank you.
You're already doing well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So how can you tell a teen, now that you're a mother of a teen,
Yes.
How can you tell that this teen is growing well in terms of independence?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, Elsie.
Yes.
And the reason I'm laughing is because
Yes.
teenage, the developmental stage itself is characterized by a lot of disorganization, because the stage itself comes with a lot of challenges. Remember, the young person is now growing. Remember, they are becoming aware of too many things.
Yeah.
And a lot of biological processes that are taking place in their bodies. And you can, when you enter most of the rooms, and I believe the viewers will concur with me.
Yes.
Those who have teenagers will concur with me that the bedroom of a teenager is the most disorganized because they will take off their clothes, especially boys.
Yes.
And the clothes will remain there, like trousers and underwear, down there on the floor
Yes.
in a heap. And the bed is never made.
But this is something you've taught them when they were 6.
I don't know.
Happens?
Teenagers are just, I don't know whether their minds also become disorganized or what happens, but that is characteristic of teenagers. But we never, as mothers of teenagers or as parents of teenagers, we do not give up. We keep encouraging them. We keep calling, and we have to be very patient because, again, raising teenagers requires a lot of patience, Elsie.
Yeah.
Because you do not exercise patience, there are chances that you may lose them in the process. And remember, they are even very difficult to correct. But you call them calmly and tell them kindly, pick those clothes and make your bed. So you will, at least you don't have to do the bed because you already trained.
Yes.
The good thing about that is you're already trained. So you don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't enter into the room and pick the clothes. So you call them, Joshua, can you come here? Can you pick those clothes? Ensure that the bed is made. Because remember, your work is to keep training, and training never stops. It will only stop when they are adults and they have left home, and now you become a consultant.
I see.
Yes,
I
yes,
see.
yes.
Let's talk about making choices.
Okay.
Do you think it's a good thing to let them make choice?
Yes, yes. Very important.
Between eating ugali and chapo.
Between eating ugali and chapo, if both dishes are available, why not Elsie?
Okay.
And you may even involve your children in decision making. You may ask, guys, today what would you want us to have? Do you prefer ugali or chapo? And sometimes one may say ugali, the other one will prefer chapati.
Mine will say pizza.
Pizza. If pizza is not there, you only allow them to choose from the two options.
What is there?
Exactly. Yes.
It's also like creating boundaries.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because if you just leave it open, they will ask for pizza,
Yeah.
and Elsie will run to Pizza Inn,
Yeah.
or start calling Lincoln. Lincoln, come with pizza. The kids do
The
not
kids.
want to gali, and they do not want chapati, and that is not okay, Elsie. We must be able to allow our children to learn boundaries,
Yeah.
even by the way that we guide them in the choices that they are making.
Yes.
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 Mm.
Personally, I feel like saying no is not a bad thing. What do you think?
Absolutely, it is not a bad thing.
Mm.
You know, even our Father God,
Yes.
when you pray, Elsie, I know you do pray.
Yes.
There are situations or instances where God will give 3 answers. What are
Yeah.
those answers?
Yes. There's a no,
Yes.
and there's a wait.
And there is a wait.
Mm.
And I believe that by the time a parent is saying no,
Mm.
they have a very good reason.
Mm.
Sometimes you have seen that whatever the child is asking for or demanding, because children can also be manipulative,
Yes.
and they may just demand for something, ask in a way that it feels like they are not even asking, they are making demands.
True.
By the time the parent is saying no, it is because they already have seen that if I give my child whatever they are asking at this particular time, they are not even ready to handle it. Sometimes it could be, and an issue I want to give as a good example is on sleepovers. Elsie, your children are growing,
Yes.
and by the time they get to about 8 years, 9, 10 years, and teenage, they really want to hang out with their peers. They want to hang out with their friends. So your children will start coming and asking, oh, we are having a sleepover at so and so's.
Yes.
So Elsie, with the issue of sleepovers, is a no. Is a no, because we are aware of the too many issues that are happening these days.
Sure.
Too many dangers out there.
Sure.
So we cannot just allow children to hang out as much as they want. But we can, if we can be there, if we are going to our family friends for a sleepover with our children, that is quite in order.
Yeah, when
Yes.
all of us go.
Absolutely.
As opposed to sending my child to
Yes.
a sleepover.
Absolutely, yes.
What?
And there are too many examples where you as a parent will have to say no. Yes. For example, you may tell me some of the issues
When
that you tell your children no.
I have to say no when they insist. It looks like it's their right. Whatever they are requesting,
Yes.
they are so, and she feels very entitled, and I get that, by the way,
Yes.
from my 6-year-old.
Yes.
Until we had to say, no, we are not going there anymore. Now that you have insisted and we've already said no and given you an explanation
Yes.
why we are saying no. Actually, my daughter will she's a smart one. She's a smart one. She'll say, Mommy, can we go to the playground tomorrow? And then I tell her, maybe not. I'll check. I'll look at that. Then tomorrow comes, then she's like, Mommy, you said we can go to the play. Actually, she'll play around with what you said.
Yes.
You may not have said yes,
Yes.
but you also didn't say no.
Yes.
But she wants to manipulate you and nag you. She's very nagging.
Wow.
Nag you until you say, no, I didn't say that.
Yes.
I said it's a no. We'll go next time.
Yes.
Then she starts complaining the way you sometimes don't listen to her. You know, you don't hear her. You say something and then you don't do it. I'm like, I didn't say that. And if you keep insisting, it's already a no. I'll not even think about it anymore. You know,
Yes.
So in those times that she insists to have her way and twist stuff, we already say no. And then at times she wants to go somewhere. She wants you to go somewhere, but you are not ready.
Yes.
You know, you are not prepared. Sometimes you don't have the money.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you don't have the time.
Yes.
And sometimes you just want to be with them. I'll have to say no. Yeah.
You know, Elsie, children are constantly pushing the limits, the boundaries that you have already put.
Created,
And that is the nature of man. That is the nature of man. So for you as a parent, you just set the limits, let the children know as early as now, because you have the advantage of say myself, because your children are still young. So once you set the limits and they know this is how far you can go. If we want, or if we have to go out, it is maybe once a month. So they will be asking, so is this the Sunday we are going out? Yes, because you have already put resources aside.
Place, yeah.
Yes, and you're still doing what the children really love or what they would like you to do for them, but within the limits that you have set, so that when they are pushing the limits and you say no, they don't imagine that, oh, mom just says no for the sake of saying no. So when you say no, you're not saying no for the sake of saying.
For the sake of
because
no.
Remember, you're still training and you also want your children to become independent. And we said that we involve them in making decisions. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and when you're making a decision, for example, which Sunday, is it the first or the second or the third, depending with your availability, would you like us to be taking you out? Yes. Yeah.
So how have you handled the part of conflicts? You know, conflicts, let's say, with their peers.
Okay.
Yeah, conflicts with their peers.
Good.
It just reminded me of a day my daughter came and told me her friends are not treating her well.
Okay.
I go and handle that.
Right.
And then I told her, what are they doing exactly? They're saying bad things to me. They don't want to play with me, blah, 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 blah. And that day I told her, I'll not go.
Wow.
I'll not go.
Wow.
Just go sort your issues with your friend, because I'm sure you'll go back to them and play together. Even tomorrow, I'm sure you'll play together. Just go talk to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, how did she sort it out?
So she stayed around me for a few minutes. Then all of a sudden, she just went back to them.
Okay. And when she came back, did you ask how she sorted it out?
Actually, I didn't ask.
You did not
I didn't
ask.
ask.
Okay. But you're already doing well. At least you did not go to fight her battles. So I want to give an example. When my daughter, my firstborn, who is now 27, was about 4 or 5 years, I think she was 6 years in kindergarten. So she used to come home and would complain many times that there's a boy, he was a bit stocky. He is constantly bothering me, he disturbs me, he pushes me. And you know, my daughter was tiny, she had a small body. So I knew that here there is trouble. Because if this bullying, that is bullying, Elsie. And we have bullies. Bullying does not start in high school. Bullying starts right from even in your own house.
Oh, even in the house.
In your own house, when the older child is bullying the younger one, or the younger one is bullying yes. So you know what I told her? Now listen to me. She's called Michelle. Listen to me, Michelle. You know what you're going to do? You are going to hold the boy like this, gentle, and look him in the eye like this, and tell him, you know what? Michelle is not bullied. You're not going to bully Michelle again. Yes. And she did that.
Wow.
Yes. And you know, initially she was a bit relaxed, hesitant. She was feeling like the boy may turn against her. But the boy was, I think, shocked. And he never bullied her again. Never again. And you know what? Up to today, even in university, she went to University of Nairobi. The University of Nairobi, where there is a huge population, where you have to learn to fight your battles, including following up on missing marks.
Yes.
And including even boarding a matatu when everyone is pushing and shoving.
You know, struggling with the few resources that are available.
Exactly.
Yes.
And and even in high school, she told me sometimes she never liked the way a girl who will be bullied by others. And one day she stood up in class and said, please guys, can you stop picking on this girl? And I was very proud. And I believe it is because I taught her from a very tender age to fight her battles. I did not need to go to school and talk to the teacher. I did not need to go and seek out the mother of that boy.
Yeah.
I only empowered my child. So
Wow.
parents, let us empower our children and encourage them not to be hostile, because if they go out in hostility and anger,
Yeah.
then it will just amount to something else that you may not like.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Sure,
yes.
sure.
I'll tell them to go calmly. Yes, yes.
What if that conflict is between her and the teacher?
If the conflict is between her and the teacher, when they are young, it can be very tricky.
Yes.
Now the mother has to, the parents have to step in. You will go and listen to what the teacher is saying, because again, sometimes when our children are reporting, they may misreport.
Yeah.
So you listen to the teacher, and you're the one now who will be the one to calm the storm between your child and the teacher. But don't go and confront the teacher in anger and swearing and threatening. Just go calmly, Elsie. These days I see you parents, you millennials, don't respect teachers.
Ouch.
Many, I have had those
Just
stories.
when, you know.
Yes. But even in our day, we still used to have some parents. When I was a younger mother, we still used to have some parents who would confront teachers. But teachers, you cannot confront the teacher of your child.
Of your child,
Yes, you
yeah.
can only go and hold a very sensible and reasonable conversation and understand where the problem is, and then be able now to talk to your child. Yes, and explain to the child that, you know what, that teacher will always be in that school. I always tell my children, that teacher will always be in that school. You'll go to that school and finish, and a few years later or many years later, that teacher will still be there. But when you feel like it is a problem where you're not able to deal or to sort out with the teacher, you may escalate it to the management of the school. Yes, because teachers, just like other human beings,
Yeah, true.
some of them can be a bit funny.
True.
You want to escalate it where you feel like you're not having a breakthrough. Yes, but it requires a lot of being sober, being reasonable and calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.